Peace, world. How you doing? Welcome to another episode of NYP Talk Show. I am your brother and good host, Mikey Fever. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe. We got super chats. We have merch. It's been a while since I seen you all, but I'm happy to be back on. Shout out to the brother Ron Brown, who just did his thing earlier. And we here to rock out. Tonight, we got our good brother, Rabbi Yosef Ben Yosef. And we will be talking about the tree of life in Judaism explained by the brother. Welcome, beloved. How you doing?
I'm doing well, my brother. Shalom alaikum. Doing very well. Yes, sir.
That's peace, man. I don't know for some second. I don't know. I think you kind of the connection. Are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. For some reason, you froze up on my screen.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. This weather and this connection is a little off, man.
Got you.
This
Yes,
is
sir.
freezing up. This technology. Yeah, all
Hey,
right. You're back, man.
You got to work with it.
So tonight, man, let me tell you, things just been going left, man. So tonight we'll be talking about the tree of life in Judaism explained. And many do know that within the tree of life explained Judaism, it also imparts the Kabbalah. Right? Is that safe to say with you?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yes, sir.
Yeah,
can you hear me?
It's breaking up. Oh.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Can I be heard?
Connection, my brother.
Can I be heard?
Oh man, brother.
All right. Can I be heard?
All right. Yeah, you can be heard. I hear you.
Okay. Yes, sir. Shalom alaikum again. I can go ahead and kick it off. Can you hear me? All right. So let's go ahead and kick it off. All right. So today we're going to be talking about the tree of life in Judaism, and more particularly the tree of life in the Torah. For the viewing audience, if you're not familiar with the Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible, and it's the source text of the Jews, Hebrews, Israelites, all the like. All right. So these are the first 5 books: is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. In the Quran, we are called the people of the book, right? And our relationship to the Creator is through a book, right? Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our great one, said in Exodus 32:32, blot me not out of your book. For the people, if the people sin, just blot me out of your book. So even all the way to Moses, our reference to the Creator has been a book, and he was speaking particularly of the book of life. And I would like to quote St. John's College motto, which says, "Facio libero, sex liberis, libris libraque," which means I make free adults from children by means of books and balances. And if we can hear the lib root in all of those words, and we see that liberation, we see that free adults, we see that free children, we see that books and balances all have the lib root, right? Yeah. So freedom is related to being able to articulate and read a book. And also in the book of Psalms, it says, I come in the volume of the book that is written of me. Right? These are all associations with the Hebrew people, the Israelite nation, and its relation to the book, to where even other nations know us by the book. See, the Torah is broken down into 2 categories. That's Agadah, which means the telling or the revealing, and which are the narratives, and Halakha, which means to do or to walk, which are the do's and the don't do's. If you notice, the Torah in Genesis does not start with the do's and don't do's. It starts with Agadah. It starts with a narrative. The narrative being the narrative of creation. Why does it start with a narrative? One thing about stories and narratives is that it bypasses your prefrontal cortex and allows the stories to go straight to your subconscious, to where you're transformed and you're emotionally involved into the story. This happens all the time when we watch movies. There's a point when you watch a movie and it brings you into the movie. You can't find where the point is, but you feel like you're in a movie and you're emotionally engaged with the movie. So the Torah starts with a narrative so you can be emotionally involved and invested in the text. So what do the narratives provide, and why didn't it start with halakha, the do's and don't do's? It started with the narratives because the narratives provide three things: revelation, inspiration, and ethics, the way you behave. So when we read these stories, a lot of people get hung up on if the character of the Bible, of the Torah or the Bible is real, but the Bible doesn't care if you think the character is real, just like the character of the boy who cried wolf. Is that character real? We don't know, nor do we care, but we get the lesson from the story nonetheless. So this is the story. This is the reason why we start with the story, so we can get lessons throughout the text that's applicable to real life. So right after humankind was given the breath of life, so we're talking about the tree of life, Adam was given what's called in Hebrew Nishmat Chaim. Nishmat Chaim means, I will translate as, they translate it as the breath of life, but for our purposes, we have to translate it, and it's best for us to translate the consciousness of life. And we'll see later why I'm translating the breath of life as the consciousness of life. So right after Adam was given the Nishmat Chaim, he was given life. He was given a choice and placed eastward in Eden in a garden. So he was given consciousness, and after he received consciousness, he moved, which happens to a lot of our people who get conscious. They end up moving. They end up transforming, going to another place, brought to another place via the consciousness that one has, that the Most High breathes into you. So we see in the book of Genesis chapter 2, which is the source text. In verse 16, he's commanded that you shall eat of all the trees of the garden. And then in verse 17, we see the fine print, which says, but do not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. Right? And so we read that, and we see that commandment given to Adam Harishon, the first man, the first Adam, him not knowing what the reason was, just like a master teacher or a kung fu master, karate master, martial arts master would tell his student to do A, B, and C, and the student doesn't necessarily know why they're doing it. So that's the type of relationship the Most High, when he says he commanded, he's giving you these things to do, but you might not know the reason why you're doing it, but it's going to benefit you in the long run.
I got you.
So there was a Moorish Israelite by the name of Moshe ben Maimon, also called Moshe ben Mimon, known as the Rambam, who was asked the question by an intelligent man who studied philosophy, who studied logic, and was reading the text of the Bible, specifically the story of eating of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the question that he had for Rambam was this: how is a man rewarded for eating of the tree of knowledge and good and evil, if knowing the difference between the knowledge of good and evil is the height of development of morality? How could a man be complete in his morality? How could a man be complete in the height of his intelligence if he doesn't know the difference between good and evil? Which a lot of readers ask, why would the Most High, why would God prevent him from eating of the tree of knowledge of good and evil? Shouldn't he know how to distinguish between the knowledge of good and evil? Now, this is a logical question, but it presents a problem of the learned reader, because it assumes that the highest form of intelligence is to know good from evil.
Exactly.
Which seems, now again, it seems to be a fair question, but you're assuming that that's the highest form of intelligence, and also you're assuming that when God made Adam and Eve, that they weren't perfect when he made them in his image and likeness. So most of our viewing audience may not know the relationship that Adam and Eve had with the world before they ate of the tree of knowledge and good and evil. When they were created perfect. They were created after the image and likeness of the Creator, not the form in the physical sense, which is a different Hebrew word. In Hebrew, it's B'Tselem, in the image or the shadow of, but it's not the word for form as in a physical form. So the image and likeness of the creator is the ability to program yourself.
Consciousness.
Your consciousness. Now you're not able to. The animals don't have the image of the creator because they survive off instinct.
Yep.
They have automatic programming. If a dog needs to go urinate, the dog urinates.
Mm-hmm.
If a bird needs to poop, the bird poops. They are going straight off instinct. They can't hold themselves like we can hold ourselves and have a conscious decision. Say, I'm going to stop myself from relieving myself.
Mm-hmm.
So the ability to program yourself is the image and of the likeness of the creator.
Exactly.
All
so
right?
I have a question before
Yes,
you go forward with that. You just unpacked a lot there, and that's pretty deep. I hope people go back and catch on because you just gave a lot of information as far as the creation aspect and the name, the words used, and the language, how stories depicted from ending to the beginning. Like from here in the U.S. we go from left to right, but over there in the East it's from right to left. So it takes you from the ending into the Genesis. It brings you back to the Genesis, so you understand. You get a clear picture of what's happening. What was humanity's relationship to the tree of life before the fall?
That's an excellent question.
Mm-hmm.
Man's relationship to the tree of life was that he had a particular understanding of truth.
Mm-hmm.
He understood the difference between truth and falsehood.
Yeah.
So he understood up, down, left, right, east, west, north, south. His understanding was only by means of truth and falsehood. It was not by means of good and bad. See, in the Judeo-Arabic, the word for good and bad is in Hebrew is tovara, good and bad. That's how it's translated. But in the Judeo-Arabic, which is Arabic, the Arabic language written in the Hebrew script, like you mentioned, from right to left, it gives two different words for good and bad, and those words are Hassan and Chapeh, which means beautiful and ugly. So this was the tree that the Most High didn't want them to eat because they couldn't have the perception of the lower senses of your five senses to where you think you're using only your senses to say this is good and ugly. And by them eating of this fruit, they saw the world only through good and ugly, cool and not cool.
Polarities. Yep.
So the first thing that, if you notice in the story, the first thing that happens when they eat the tree, they notice something that they didn't notice before. In the end of chapter 2, it says that Adam and Eve were naked and they were not ashamed. But as soon as they ate of this tree, because they saw their nakedness as ugly, they covered themselves with fig leaves. Just like somebody in your school, if you was in elementary school, said you had a big head. You didn't know until somebody said something to you. So now you wear a hat all the time.
You were tainted now. Yeah, you're tainted because of the outside.
So their minds were tainted. And the Bible says, and their eyes were opened. Which we should know is not a literal opening because they weren't blind before they ate of the tree. They didn't have a different body before they ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But their eyes were open to a whole new type of world of consciousness. So the serpent in Genesis chapter 3 said, if you eat of this tree of knowledge of good and evil, you shall be like, it's translated, like God.
Exactly.
Knowing the difference between good and evil. Now, why is that a problem? The Hebrew word for Elohim doesn't just mean God, the creator. It has 4 different meanings. And this is what the Rambam said in his book on Dalalet al-Harim, or that's the Judeo-Arabic, and the Hebrew is More Nebuchim, the guide to the perplexed. He said that all Hebrews that called Ivri, all Hebrews knew that Elohim had 4 different meanings during that time. This was about 1,000 years ago. He said, we all know there's a difference, but the translators don't know when to translate the word Elohim for God into the other 3 translations a lot of times, which are, we know God the creator, angels, judges, and political leaders. So when the serpent said to Adam, or Eve rather, that when you eat of this tree of knowledge of good and evil, that you will be like gods, he wasn't talking about the creator. The Elohim was used twice in that verse. The first one is talking about the creator. The second time is talking about the last rendition or the last homonym of the word Elohim, which means political leaders. Now, we know one thing about political leaders. You got Democratic or Republican. You got red versus blue. You got the elephant versus donkey. You have one side that looks ill to the other side, and the other side looks ill to the other side, and both are at an antagonistic relationship with one another, and they can't meet in the middle because they're on both sides, on either side of the game.
Exactly.
So this is who Adam and Eve became like. They didn't become like the creator, knowing the good and evil. They became like political princes, knowing the difference between what's cool, what's not cool, what's hot, what's not. And their vision and their consciousness changed from true and false to what's cool and what's not cool after they ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Got you. That's deep right there. Wow. So you say that, after they consumed from the tree of knowledge, they were expelled from the garden. And we know that's when the fall of humanity had taken place from the grace from God. Slowly, they descended into like mortal beings, right?
Right. And so what happened when they got kicked out of the garden was actually a merciful act by the creator. Because he did not want them to live their entire lives into eternity in a state of looking at things as cool and not cool, beautiful and ugly. He did not want them to stay in that state for eternity. So in his mercy, he kicked them out the garden so they can't die. Now I said pay attention to the way I translated the phrase Nishmat Chaim, which means I translate it as the consciousness of life. Now in the book it says that in that day they shall surely die. How did they die in that day? They died to the consciousness that was only able to see true and false. That's how they died in that day. It wasn't a literal death in the sense we see they live on and they have children afterward. So we know it's not a literal death. This is a metaphorical death, a death of consciousness, to where they can't eat from the tree of life and they can't look at the world between true and false anymore like they could. And they have to perceive the world through beautiful and ugly. And so their consciousness was warped. And if I may, we see Adam say something to his wife after he was kicked out, after he ate of the tree of knowledge and good and evil. So his consciousness is different. What did he say to his wife? He said, "You are the Eish Chaim. You are the Aim Chaim. You are the mother of all living."
Yes.
Now, how could she be the mother of all living if we know that the beasts were created on the fifth day, the sun and moon and stars were created on the fourth day,
yes.
the living the grass and herbs and trees made on the third day? How could she be his consciousness changed and he developed into something that we still have with us to this day? What a sexual sex connotation do we give to Earth? Some people call it what Earth? Mother Earth. So he started putting these ideas out here that there's a mother of Earth, and we adopted and we grew up knowing about the mother Earth. Where do we get these ideas from? We got these ideas from a man who perceived the world and over glorified his wife to this status, to where she was the ruler and the mother of all living, when that wasn't the case.
Oh man, you're gonna stir up the pot with that one, man. Oh man, they're gonna say you're misogynist with that perspective. Don't want to touch that right there. So, like, it's a question I want to ask you right here. What does the act like? Why did the Creator prevent us from accessing the tree of life? Like, if we're therefore we create the image of consciousness and stuff like that. Does it falls back to that concept of I am a jealous God and such like that, not to be like, be combative with me, be submissive?
Yeah, that's a good question. He wanted us to eat from the tree of life again, but he wanted to give us a choice because he created humans, he didn't create robots.
Mm-hmm.
We have, in order to show love to somebody properly, you have to have options. And this is one thing in Judaism that Judaism teaches about our relation to sin, unlike our Christian brothers and sisters,
Mm-hmm.
who look at sin as something to obliterate, and sin is something that you completely destroy and never to encounter again. We don't see sin in that way. In Genesis chapter 4, it says you shall sin crouches at your door, speaking to Cain and Abel, specifically Cain, but you shall be ruler over it. Right? So we're taught that we have to rule over sin, but if we don't rule over it, it will rule over us.
Of course.
Right? And so our relationship to man being fallen, our relationship to the world via the sin, is that we overcome sin by our actions, by hard work, but not by, and I don't want to be discouraging to my Christian brothers and sisters, but not by putting someone in front of that sin and taking that sin for us, and that we personally have to overcome our relation to sin, which means the word het means just to miss the mark.
Gotcha.
Mishap is at the door, but we shall rule over mishap. We shall rule over sin. This is what the Most High told Cain before he killed his own brother.
Basically, you must practice restraints and proper discernment, discipline.
In all you're getting, in the book of Proverbs, it says, in all you're getting, get understanding. Now, that word for understanding is binah. And binah is often translated as understanding, but it's actually a better translator, what you said. In all you're getting, get discernment.
Yeah.
And all you're getting, get insight. Wisdom is the principal thing. It's the first thing that you get. In Judaism, wisdom is something that can come to anybody. It can come to a child. It comes in flashes. And it comes first. Even in the book of Proverbs, it says wisdom is the principal thing. Get wisdom, but not all you're getting, get discernment, meaning that you have to work for discernment. Wisdom, sometimes you can have bouts of wisdom that falls upon you without you having to work for it. But you have to work for discernment, and you have to work for insight and understanding.
Tell them, kept the Hawkman Beamers, people.
Yes, sir.
Is the tree of life meant to be taken literally or symbolically in the Torah?
So that's a great question. So as far as the Nishmat Chaim is meant to be taken symbolically, and we have to look at the tree of life and its relation, the symbolic relation, its relation with the Nachash, which is the serpent. Right? It says the serpent is more subtle than all the beasts of the field.
Yes.
And because of the serpent, we know that Eve was tricked because of the serpent. But the serpent represents a particular faculty in our mind. And that faculty represents the imaginative faculty of our minds. Right? So Adam and Eve didn't have this unbounded imagination before they ate of the tree of knowledge and good and evil. But when Eve said to that tree, this is a tree that I find pleasant in my eyes, the fruit are pleasant in my eyes. One thing about fruit is most fruit doesn't look pleasant.
Yep.
It's not a beautiful, most fruit aren't necessarily beautiful. Before they become fruit, their flowers are beautiful, but the fruit itself isn't beautiful. But she, in her mind, already imagined this fruit to look good, which fruit doesn't look good. And at that point, she was already in the realm of imagination. And when it says that the serpent was more subtle than the other beasts, it's talking about your imaginative faculty was more crafty than any other faculty in your mind, is the faculty of your imagination.
Got you. Got you. So in Peace of the Gods on Earth, because they always say we bring information, facts from knowledge to born, right? That's the framework it works within supreme mathematics, right?
Right.
It's the same concept within that framework of the tree of life. it's to bring something into creation. Right? So
Correct.
that right there itself is it's a powerful framework. It's a map. It's a spiritual map to connect the universe, you and the universe as one, to bring something into fruition. So what does the tree of life represent in Jewish spiritual thought?
In Jewish spiritual thought, the Eitz Chaim, we even sing a song called Eitz Chaim Lemachazim Kimbo, where we're talking about the tree of life. Those who partake of it shall live, and we shall live in continuity. And we're speaking about the Torah itself. We're speaking about the instructions of the Torah is called Eitz Chaim. So again, going back to the beginning, we're called the people of the book because the book gives us Chaim. It gives us life by taking upon the Torah itself. We know the Creator and his awesomeness is above all creation and is above life itself. And even our words trying to describe the creator as life don't suffice to who he is, but he gave us this vehicle called Chaim to interact with the conscious world as we know it. And so we have the Nishmat Chaim so we can live here. And this is why in Judaism, and on earth, particularly in Judaism, we say we can't keep Torah on any other planet but this one. Because the Torah and the tree of life was for this particular planet. Gotcha. And for us here, because a lot of individuals try to use this form of escapism to where they try to escape to the stars when the Almighty didn't want you to be in the stars, even though we have stories of us coming from the stars. But the purpose of us was to be on earth, and not only to be on earth, but to rule the earth and subdue it and have dominion over this plane. So the Eitz Chaim, the tree of life, was particularly for this plane. Now let's go back to when it said that the serpent said, "You shall be like political princes." Weren't they the only people on earth at the time? So how could they be like something that didn't exist?
Probably the serpents are foreseeing something.
So what happened? The book of Bereshit, the word Bereshit,
beginning.
It means in a beginning.
Yeah.
Or at a beginning. It's not Bereshit at the beginning. This is at a beginning. So this is we see that the Most High, the Creator, is a creator and a destroyer. Because listen, within 6 chapters of Genesis, we see he's already ready to destroy the earth and start over again. He has no issue with starting the earth over because he's a creator and a destroyer.
God.
And also, even with Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our great one, the Most High in the book of Exodus wanted to destroy the nation of Israel. And said, Moses, I'm going to start over with you. So we see that the Most High has multiple projects, our project being the most recent, called humankind, or we call it Adam, being the most recent iteration of his project. But we know that he will start and stop a project at a drop of a dime because he's a creator. And that's what creators do. If they don't like that song, they're going to trash it.
Of course. Talk about it. Yo, listen, right? you on fire right now, man. You dropping so much information. People, run up the likes, hit the like button. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe. The brother here is giving you guys a lot of information, and you should show love by hitting those like buttons. Run up the likes, man. Share, tell a friend and tell a friend, and stay tuned in. Oh man, yo, you dropped so much info just now, man. I like to ask you this question. How is the tree of life understood in Kabbalah? Like you took us to Judaism, Torah, and there's a lot more you got to give. But when one hear tree of life, this is the first time dealing with it within the Judaism, the aspect of Judaism from that perspective. But the world mostly hears that term tree of life and they associate with Kabbalah, right? Are those two somehow interlaced to each other or separate?
They're loosely interrupted, so they're loosely they're loosely connected. Let me say that, because Kabbalah was started in around the 14th century, as we know it today. Now, the word Kabbalah comes from the word kibel, which means to receive, the reception. And it's one part of a two-part series, which is Masorah, meaning to give, and the Kabbalah, meaning to receive. And this was the relationship between master and student, rabbi and talmidim, Moses and Joshua, passed down. You had this give and take relationship. The Kabbalah was just the take part of the relationship. So what happened with the Kabbalah and the Sephirot and the Tree of Life, as they put it, I feel, and a lot of my constituents and how I was trained as a rabbi, is that these are actually barriers, and this may shock your audience. These are actually barriers to know the Creator. These different Chokhmah, Binah, and things of that nature that you see on the Sephirot, the 12 parts of the Tree of Life, as it's taught in Kabbalah. We look at it as barriers to the Creator, because we know, and what we practice is knowing the Creator, or getting to know the Creator through negation, meaning that we know the Creator by not putting these attributes with human words, but we know the Creator by removing what we know that he's not first. So this is what we do to get to know the Creator. And as you begin to, it's also, if you heard the concept of Simsum, when things continue to break down and things of that, it's almost like the inverse of Simsum, as opposed to the Creator coming down into having how all these levels and to interact with his creation. For those who are familiar with Simsum, the way that we've learned and we've been taught is just the opposite, that we peel back the onion layers of what he's not until we get to the point that where we don't have any words left. And then you begin to interact with what he is by removing what he's not. And it's also called, in the Latin, it's called, I can't, it slips my mind, but we do it, we remove all the things that, again, that he is not, in order to find out who he is, right? And this is how we come to the Creator and get to know him, is through negation, through negative theology, as it's called.
Okay, I got you. So the Tree of Life, as we put it, right? Within those barriers, right? And you say our people were the people of the book. Where in the Tree of Life do we fall in that?
That's a great question. So in the book of Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy, it says something profound. In the last few chapters, it says, you shall choose life and good. So it commands us that, and tells us that life is a choice. And that is a choice that we are to choose the life and good. So life is something, and we can be alive but not have the consciousness or the life that he told us to choose. So when it says choose basar b'chayai, choose life, it's a commandment to his people that life, just like it was in the garden, was a choice. And that life comes by means of the Torah.
Got you.
And adhering to the Torah.
I got you. Some I had to remove somebody on here because usually I don't let people put their comments here. Some person, I don't know what's their problem, trying to put something foolish up here, so we had to boot them up out of here. And we got a super chat that just came in from Creation of Boundless Universe. Is there a difference between the male and female created to have dominion, and Adam formed from the dust and Eve from his rib?
Let's talk about it. I'm glad you asked that question. So the word for male in Hebrew is the word zachar. Zachar in the Paleo Hebrew, the Proto-Sinaitic script, in the Paleo Hebrew were pictures just like hieroglyphs. So for male, it was Zion, Chaf, Resh. The Zion is a picture of a tool. The Chaf is a picture of the cuff of your hand. That's where we get the word cuff from. It's actually a Hebrew derived. Chaf. It looks like the letter C. It looks like your hand like this. Chaf. And then we have the resh. The resh is a picture of a man's head.
Yeah.
So a male, when he was given dominion as someone who has tools that he holds in his head. As a man or as a male, one thing that raises our masculinity is having the right tools that we have in our head to be able to manage our environment. This is what a male is according to the ancient Hebrew text. According to the Paleo Hebrew, the Proto-Sinaitic Hebrew, the oldest form of Hebrew, the picture form, a man is someone who has tools that he holds in his head, and he knows how to use those tools in his head. How many men do we know sitting in jail right now who didn't have the right tools in their head?
Many. Far
How
too
many
many
brothers we know on the street who didn't hold the right tools in their head, and because they lost their male status, and now they're being told what to do by a superior because they didn't have the right tools in their head. So when it comes to male and female, the male is a person who has the right tools that he holds in his head. So let's talk about if you will. Let's talk about females.
Definitely, let's go into it.
Females, the Hebrew word is nakeba. Nakeba is noon, kof, bait, hey, which means female. The noon is a picture of a seed. The kof is a picture of a reflection of a sunset. It's like a circle and a line in between it. The bait is a picture of a house. And the hay is a picture of someone's hands up, as in they're showing emotion. So a woman or a female, according to the ancient Hebrew, as I interpret it, is a person who continues the noon, the seed. Seed means continuity. Continues to reflect. Reflect what? The bait is the word for house in Hebrew, which means reflect the internal what? The internal hate, the internal emotions.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep a woman in her feminine, you have to allow her to continue to reflect the emotion she has inside. This is the beauty of the Hebrew text.
Yeah.
If we knew it, it will be easier for us as men to know that we need to talk less and let her talk more, because the number one body part that we can give to our women is our, let me just put it like this, is our ears.
Hold on. Let me give you some, because I learned that. That's a fact right there. You know, us men, we were taught wrong. It took me time as I got older, like by my mid-20s, I started learning more. Like, you know what? A lot of the times it comes off them as nagging and stuff, but that's their way of processing the emotion and expressing themselves. Because you got to also factor in the emotional intelligence aspect also. She may not know how to process her emotions, so she just figured, I'm just going to talk. This energy that's within me, I don't know how to contain it. I don't know how to control it, so I just got to talk. And we just got to sit there sometimes and be like, listen to it, or be like, you know what, I'm going for a walk. Because there are times my lady and I will have some differences, and I may not have an answer for her at the moment. It's not being disrespectful. It's just like,
right.
Before I react, I want to respond. Notice the difference. I don't want to react. I want to respond. I want to process what you're saying, so we can come to an understanding. So yes, it's important for a woman to vent, so that she can have a healthy feminine energy.
Absolutely. And Brother Mikey, and one thing, and I used to teach on this, is one thing we have to do as men is know, because we have the tools to fix things, we automatically go into fix mode when we need to go into listen mode, which is the conundrum, because that's our nature, is to fix stuff.
Exactly. Let me vent. I'm like, all right, I get it. You're venting, but I'm giving you some tools. This is what you need to do. Like, approach it like this. Just let me vent. I'm like, oh, okay. And that's what I do now. I just like, let me just shut up.
Right. Or you could give them a choice. So you could do this. Say, are you venting? Do you want me to help you solve the problem? Or are you just venting? And that way you know how to switch. Okay, I'm in listen mode. Because
Man.
go ahead.
I said more power to you, but it took me time to learn that.
Oh yes. After learning the Hebrew language and after seeing this in the Torah myself, I said, you know what? The Most High was showing us how to navigate these waters called women and their feminine in the text. If we just paid attention to it and we knew it, but now that we know how that we just allow them to talk, and that's a part of their nature. Mm-hmm. When we stop them from doing that, that's when they become more masculine, mm-hmm. because we're stopping and preventing their nature from coming out, and that's when they start internalizing. Actually, things start happening internally to their bodies because they're not able to speak. One important part about the woman is, again, her mouth. Let her speak. Let her vent. Let her emotions flow, because again, we're fixers and there are emotional roller coasters, and sometimes we just got to be along for the ride.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you don't know who you coming home to. So I come from work, you open that door, you look like, all right, you don't know who's there, but okay, you tiptoe around. But beautifully said, man. Sisters must allow them to vent and express themselves.
Absolutely.
Has the tree of life influenced other religions?
Absolutely. So one thing about Judaism is that we may claim to have a particular relationship with the Creator, mm-hmm. but we don't claim to have the only relationship with the Creator. We have a prophet by the name of Balaam or Balaam, mm-hmm. who's not an Israelite, but yet we see the Creator speaking to this non-Israelite prophet in the text. We even have an entire Torah portion named after him, and he's not an Israelite. We also have Jethro, which is Moses' father-in-law, who wasn't an Israelite, who practiced a different religion, who was able to teach and train Moses on how to deal with all the people that were coming to him and asking him questions. And we have an entire Torah portion named after him. So we see, and we see the Most High interacting with Egyptians. We see him interacting with the Midianites and people of that nature. So when it comes to the knowledge of the Creator, we have our peace, and we're familiar with our peace. But we are only on one side of that tree of life, because all of us are made in the image and likeness of the Creator, Israelite or not. And this is what my Israelite brethren wouldn't like me to say. They would like to say, "Oh, we're the only ones who have the claim to the Creator," but we don't. We have one angle to the Creator, because the Creator is so massive. That tree of life is so big, we can't even see who's on the other side.
Exactly. Beautifully said. What are the consequences? Like, I feel like I want to know from your perspective, like, in relationship to melanated people, Black people in the world, right? I have heard from the Hebrew Israelites that be in the streets that would say, they would mention that our people are in this predicament because they lost connection and disrespected the principles and the laws of our forefathers, right? From your perspective, how did our people, and when I say our people, whether you call yourself Black, Moor, you go by your nationality, indigenous, whatsoever, how did we fall in this position that we're in?
Well, that's what we got to go back to. We got to go back to the tree. So our relationship with imagination is unbounded, because we don't see reality as it is why we're in the predicament that we're in today. We continue to, in the Black community, we see charlatans able to come into our community and able to fool our people to give them millions of dollars, who have no financial background, but yet because they can talk smooth and dress nice, they're able to get millions of dollars from people without any POC or proof of concept. Yeah. Because our relationship with imagination is unbounded. Imagination in itself isn't a bad thing, but if it's unbounded from truth and falsehood, if we don't ask these questions, does this person have a financial background? Have they ever run a hedge fund before? These are the questions that other nations ask. But because we're in the condition that we're so trodden down by white people. We're so trodden down by the pale nations. We're so trodden down by these people that we hope and we depend on imagination, and we play the imagination lottery.
My Messiah complex. We're looking for a Messiah.
We play the imagination like we're looking for a Messiah. We're looking for somebody to come deliver us, and we'll find the most dirtiest person that we know to try to deliver us, knowing they have this background, which isn't in whatever field they're teaching, but because we want to believe that we're going to get pulled out of our situation so quickly if we give this person this money and we pay for this course or we do this thing with this person who doesn't have a background in this thing, because our relationship with imagination is off, we're going to continue to get duped until we really settle in our reality and know the difference between true and false. Take good and ugly and cool and not cool, but we stuck in cool. They look good. They have a Bentley. They look, they are appealing to the eye. They have a nice suit on. They have an appearance of a nice house. They have all these nice things. So we look at that, but we're not asking the right questions.
They get stuck on the charisma, or they speak like
words.
this. I'm gonna take you into the promised land. I promise you, therefore, my people.
Other people, other nations, and other people groups aren't going for it.
I know, man, because I love my people, man. But it's like we easily sold. All I gotta do is put on some regalia, as you say, have some people behind me. You know what I'm saying? I could be like, I own this whole block right here. I'm building a small village over here. Come over here and move over here with me. This is what's gonna go down. I'll talk like this. I'm downloading information into my brain.
Yes.
And therefore, you go take a poop in the woods and you can live in this jungle with me. And I'm trying to give this man, shut up, man.
Thank you. And that's what we need. We need more people like you saying, shut up. And we need more people criticizing these individuals from a standpoint and true and false. Like, who is this person? What is their background? Can they even provide you what they're telling you that they're going to provide you for? And if not, leave them alone, regardless of how charismatic they are. And I've almost fell prey to these guys too. Giving them money, have to chase them down. You're supposed to be sending me this book, not getting the book. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, they're gonna use.
You promised me you was gonna give me this thing. You promised me I was gonna get my nationality, and I was gonna be able to maneuver around with this nationality card, and I was gonna be able to do all these different things. No, wait a minute. Now I'm not able. Are you able to do this stuff you telling me that I can do?
So you got caught up in that? What you got body slammed on the side of the highway? Paperwork was flying over the place. They caught you out there?
I'm just saying, no, they didn't. Luckily, I didn't get that far into it. But I'm just saying, these are stories that are happening to brothers who are receiving inheritance from their parents and grandparents, and they're giving these charlatans money based upon imagination, based upon them wanting to be that way and them really not being that way. And this is what we go back to. In all you're getting, get discernment.
Exactly. Hold on a second. We got somebody who gave us a super chat. They get caught up in the fronts. Creative universe. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's unfortunately there's too many charlatans within this so-called conscious community. And I'm gonna say this, you know what I'm saying? This is not Brother Ron's perspective, this is my perspective. Too many charlatans came about, as you said, ran off with the people's money. Sold them that hope. And next thing they got exposed. They end up in a hotel with a little girl now doing 7 years. Anyway,
talk about it. Talk about it.
Next
talk
thing.
About it.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's the truth. We can't run away from it, and that's the truth. What's happening? I'm not trying to put anybody down. But yet, one thing we're trying to do is have more accountability. The ability to account for what people are doing in our community. We can't sit back and take this no snitching culture and think that it's cool for these people to take advantage of thousands and millions of dollars that these people have gotten based upon imagination and falsehood.
Yep.
We can't do that any longer in 2026.
Yeah, when you got people moving into the woods with you like this, I don't want to say these dude's name. And again, I don't want to come at, you just trying to take another black brother down. No, I'm not taking a black brother down. I'm taking these predators, because not only do we have deviant sexual predators, we got predators that are preying on your hope and desperation. So all that has to be outed. We cannot move forward if we allow people to come in and snake your people, scam them out of money, and do nothing to pay them back whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to correct ourselves, man.
Exactly. Now, and this is going back to the trend now, those will be like political leaders, because these political leaders, they will have the information because they know what's good and what's bad and what's hot and what's not. And since they have that information, they have this hierarchy over you because they have the information and you don't. I want people equipped with the information so we all can be on the same level. I don't want you to have to come to me and say, "Oh man, Rabbi Yosef Ben Yosef, he got all the information, so I gotta come to him." No, I'll give you the tools. I'll give you the books. Read these books. I'll give you these books to read yourself so you can come to the same conclusion. Not with me lording this information on you, but us living in a horizontal society and not a vertical one.
All right, somebody just said this right here. I am interested in want to join. I live in Stone Mountain. I heard you were in Atlanta.
Okay, yes, I am. Yes, I am. And I will try to message you after the show, so we can connect, my brother. And I believe it's my brother. I see Haru Terry 1329. We can definitely try to connect. I have starting congregation here in the Metro Atlanta area. Right now, we're more so virtual. We meet from time to time, and I'm working with. I often visit ORME, which is a congregation in Atlanta. That's been around for a little while now, and I congregate with them. But yeah, I would love to meet my brethren, and so we can build, because we need another representation of what Israelites look like, as opposed to the ones that are on the street screaming at how bad of a person you are because you live the life the way you live life. We don't take that approach here, and we're not against anybody who practices whatever religion they practice. I'm not against it personally, because I know the Creator is his spirit and his knowledge is spread throughout the earth, and it's contained in I would say almost all religions, right?
Gotcha.
So but that's not who we are.
I got a question. What books can one begin to read if they want to start this journey on becoming involved in the tree of life, learning your perspective of Hebrew and Judaism? What book should one pick up?
So one book outside of Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Bible, one book is called the More Nebuchim, or the English is called The Guide to the Perplexed. Right, and that book is written by the Rambam. Again, is a Moorish Israelite about 1,000 years ago who lived in Egypt, who lived in Spain, and was able to guide people to the same things that I addressed here in this podcast. Is based upon what he addressed, because this is how all Hebrews looked at the text. So I would say The Guide to the Perplexed, because it's written for those people who can't figure out why this text is written the way it is. He pretty much answers a lot of questions that we have about the book of Genesis, about who God is, how to meet the Creator, how to have negative theology, meaning taken away from what God is not, to be able to find out who He is. You can find that in the Guide to the Perplexed by the Rambam. So please pick that up if you're interested in what I'm talking about. It's based upon that book.
Got you, man. So it's the Torah. Thoughts on the Masoretic text or the Stone Edition Torah? Is that one thing?
Yeah, I think all of them are good. The Masoretic text is good. It has its advantages and disadvantages. The Stone Edition Tanakh is good as well. The King James is good. 1611 is good as well. See, I'm not a type of person who would disparage other books, right? The King James is going to be a translation of the Hebrew Bible and the Greek New Testament. There's Stone Edition Tanakh is a pretty good translation of the Tanakh or the Old Testament, and the Masoretic text is just a 1,000-year-old text that was written by actually Karaites, those Jews who don't believe in the Talmud or anything like that. They actually made the Masoretic text, and they had a particular way they pronounced the text. But it has its issues too, but not to deter anybody, because that's what we translate our Bible from, is from the Masoretic text. But I'm honest to say that it's a great text, but it has certain spots. It has certain spots that has issues in it. But again, not to deter anybody from the Masoretic text. It's just something to look into, and it's something definitely to study if you do know Hebrew, because that's what Masoretic text is written in straight Katabi Reed, written in the language of Hebrew.
Yeah, the quickest I got, the most I could do in Hebrew that I can remember is Aleph, Def, Beth, Aleph, Beth, Def.
Yep, Aleph,
Vav,
Beth, Aleph, Beit, Veit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey.
Aleph, yep, Mem for water, and all that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes,
man. Very
yes,
powerful,
sir.
very powerful
Excellent.
language.
Excellent.
It's 23, and each I know each letter has an attribute, numeric attribute, so it's
Yes.
also it's very mathematical and powerful as well.
Yes.
Somebody has a question here. I mean, a statement. He said the truth is Israelites' true God is Allah. My Quran says this, and they went astray worshiping idolatry,
Yeah,
idolatry.
some Israelites did go into idolatry, and again, I'm one to be honest, right? Some Israelites did go into idolatry. As a matter of fact, and it's okay to say the true God is Allah. I don't. My forefathers, Rabbi Ford, used the word Allah all the time. So I don't have an issue with the Arabic version of Elohim, which is Allah. I have no issue. The book, the Hebrew Bibles, the word Elohim is plural. Why is the word Elohim plural? It's written to people who were former polytheistic people. The Bible is written in the language of men, for men to understand. It would have been very hard for the people during Moses' time to understand Eloah, which is the singular version of Elohim, because they believed in many gods.
Yeah.
So when you say they fall into idolatry, it was not hard. And this is why at Har Sinai, the revelation of Har Sinai, Mount Sinai, first thing he said was, I can talk about Ben Ami, and the Black Hebrew Israelites as well. Just give me one moment. But at Har Sinai, you mentioned earlier about him being a jealous God, meaning that he can't tolerate infidelity. He said, "I brought you out of Egypt. Lo acharim, you shall not have any other powers before me." This is the first thing he said. You shall not have any gods before me, because he knew they had an affinity towards other gods, and having one God is a very hard concept. And so the language had to compromise to use the word Elohim as opposed to Eloah, so they can actually communicate with the people, because having one God was just something that was so out of the question that they had to use Elohim in the language in order to communicate properly with them.
Got you. Creative Boundless Universe, thank you again for the super chat. Much appreciated. And the question that he or she's asking, your thoughts on Ben Amin and the Black Hebrew Israelites.
Yes, I love Ben Ami and his group. He's no longer with us. Zichrono Livraka, a blessed memory, and his group, the Demona. They call themselves the African Hebrew Israelites. They don't call themselves the Black Hebrew Israelites. And they will correct you if you call them Black Hebrew Israelites, because they consider themselves the African Hebrew Israelites. Now they live in Demona, Israel, which just got struck by some shrapnel from the missiles from Iran, from Iran.
Oh man, peace to those peoples over
yes,
there,
man. And may the Creator send them a speedy blessing, a refuah shalama, a complete healing be upon those who are injured from the shrapnel, because unfortunately the Demona community is right next to the nuclear reactor. So Ben Israel was an Israelite who left from Chicago in the 60s, who left with a group of people who went to Israel via Liberia. They lived in Liberia, and they ended up moving to Israel and created the largest African American group outside of America lives in Israel. So Ben Ami Carter, I can only give him kudos, because he did what most Hebrews are afraid to do, which is actually go back into the land, go back and actually learn the language and teach their children and so forth, and have your own schools, have your own dietary laws. And one thing you got to find out about our groups is that usually we have a dietary component with these religious groups. Right, and that's how when you see the Nation of Islam, and you see the way they have and they have a book that's a message to their people. Ben Ami had a book called God, the Black Man, the Truth. When I read that changed my life, right? Because the way he was speaking, he spoke in a way that I will understand as a Black American. I understood how he spoke, because my people comes from the same people he comes from.
Okay.
So I give kudos to, and I have close relationships to the African Hebrew Israelite. That's my family. Every time that I see them is love. I continue to learn from them because they actually, again, had enough energy to go all the way into Israel and actually live in the land of Israel, create their own dietary laws, and create their own way of living their life outside of the outsider. So, man, all kudos to Ben Ami and the African Hebrew Israelite.
All right, this is the last. Israel. This is the last one before we get up out of here. Peace to Raphael Moore, and good looking out for the
Raphael. Shalom alaikum, Islam, my brother.
Your Rabbi Yosef is one of my teachers, noble brother. That's peace right there.
Right. And that's Sheikh Raphael, of MSCA 19, who just commented, the leader there.
Definitely.
Let's see. Do you do conversions? I've been looking for a Black Judaic congregation. We're working on that as we speak. One thing about conversion, I can give you into a little bit of the politics if we have time, into Judaism, is that conversions, some conversions aren't accepted everywhere, right? And you have to be comfortable. You have to be comfortable with that if you do plan on converting, regardless of where you convert. Whether you convert with us, convert with other people, you won't be accepted everywhere. Okay, so I just want you to whoever the person was who's wishing to do that, regardless, you can go to the most Orthodox, even if you want to go all the way to the Ashkenazi, the most Orthodox Jewish congregation. Your conversion is only going to be good with that group, right? So this is the stuff we're dealing with inside of Judaism, which is why I stick with my people, the Israelites. That's why I stick with who I stick with. I'm not with none of the politics. Y'all can keep all that over there. You know, I'm with my people over here.
All right, then that's peaceful. With that I
can't hear you, my brother.
No, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Damn. Chat. Let me know if y'all can. Y'all hear me, chat?
Look, we must be on fire tonight, man, because they trying to attack your mic right now. I can't hear anything.
It's the second time this happened. Like, my mic is good. Like, I can hear myself. Chat, can y'all hear me? Chat, can y'all hear me? Type in. I don't know, man. Hold on.
Again, just to be able to talk, I appreciate all y'all are tuning in.
See the chat can hear me.
There you go.
Yeah, see, I don't know what's going to chat can hear me. I think it's from your end.
Okay, okay. I hear you. I'm sorry. I hear you now.
You good.
Yes, sir.
So, with that being said, man, I appreciate you, Rabbi, for coming through.
Sure.
You did your thing. It was very informative. We got to do a part 2, man.
Absolutely.
We got to. I know we were cross-referencing the tree of life and the tree of life in the Kabbalah aspect as well, but to learn it in Judaic form, it was pretty dope, man. So I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna look into that. We definitely got to get back on here. And to our guests, to our listeners and viewers, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe. We got super chats. Where can people reach you at, man?
People can reach me on Facebook. I'm Rabbi Yosef Ben Yosef, or Rob, R-A-B-H, Yosef Ben Yosef. On Instagram, same thing, Rob Yosef Ben Yosef. It's spelled R-A-B-H, right? And then Yosef is, as you look on the screen, and you can connect with me on Instagram. You can chat with me on there, and I would love to link with the people and build with the people.
But we're gonna do that, man. We have to. Yes, we gotta get on, man. With that being said, my NYP family, show us love. Run up the like button, share this show, support, and we'll continue bringing you that good heat, man. That being said, we out. Peace and love. Stay blessed.
Shalom alaikum.
Alaikum salam.